Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to Apron Strings. I'm going to get right into it today. Y'all are getting 2 for 1. I'm going to make chilled avocado soup, and don't naysay it until you taste it. It's wonderful. And I'm going to make broccoli cornbread to go with it. Here's the deal. There's a tea room in Fredericksburg, Texas called the Peachtree Tea Room, and they serve this soup, and it's wonderful. And I had a friend that opened a tea room in Cleveland for a while, or a place called Miss Lily's, and we served this avocado soup there and everybody loved it. Troy liked his warm. I like mine cold, just like the tea room served it. He probably didn't like it cold because that's how the tea room did it, and he wasn't a tea room man. Anyway, I'm going to get right into making the soup first, and then we'll make the broccoli cornbread, and I'll get me a serving fixed up and show y'all what it looks like. And I'm telling you, it's so refreshing and so good. It don't make you feel like you've eaten a half of a lamb, but it fills you up and makes you satisfied. It's very yummy. So let's get over to the Cuisinart and get busy. Okay, we need 4 ripe avocados, and I bought these other day at Costco. They're just beautiful. And what I did, I let them get nearly ripe, and then I put them in the ice box. And that keeps them from ruining, and they go ahead and ripen, and then you don't have any of that black avocado in there to deal with. And I know y'all are looking at the back of my hand, but that's the best I can do here where the food processor's at. I'm just going to scoop them out, and I'll be back when I get them all scooped out. Okay, I've got my avocados in there, and I'm just going to whiz them a little bit. Well, it'd help to plug it in. I think that's what helps. Okay, I'm going to need 3 cups of sour cream. And I've got 1 here because I had some that was a little bit older, so I'm going to use it first. See how much more is in that container, and then we'll worry about the other one. Well, I'll bet just dumped it right on the counter. But I just gathered it right up off the counter too. Okay, there was 1. This will be 2. Okay, there's my 3 cups of sour cream. It called for 5 tablespoons of cilantro fresh. Well, this is freeze-dried, so I'm going to do 4. I need a tablespoon of pickled jalapenos and the juice, and 1 clove of garlic went in. I need a half teaspoon of Tabasco. I'm going to guesstimate here. That's just a hot sauce if y'all don't have it. And I need 8 cups of chicken broth. I'll put the rest of that in a minute because I need a cup of buttermilk. And I'm going to mix that, and then we'll keep adding our liquid stuff to it. Okay, I've got to have 4 green onions, and I've actually got 6, and the reason is I didn't have much green on those, so I'm just adding some extra. Let them whiz up in there. Let me get the white parts of some of them. Let's let those whiz up. And I'll bring y'all back in just a minute when it's mixed. Okay, I've got everything in it. It has avocados, garlic, green onions, cilantro, jalapenos, Tabasco, sour cream, buttermilk, and the chicken broth. So I'm going to taste it because I need to put a little salt, maybe. I don't think I want salt. But I'm going to have to add some more chicken broth. This is full, so I'm going to put this out in a bowl to where I can whisk in the rest of the chicken broth. Actually, I'm going to pour part of it out and put the rest of the broth in there, and then it'll be easier to incorporate it all. So let me get this in, part of it in a bowl where I can show y'all what I'm going to do. Okay, I've got the rest of the broth in. I'm just going to mix it well. Let me get my whisk. I'll do the rest of it at the butcher block. I'll meet y'all right back over there. Okay, I've got the first part in this bowl, and I'm going to add the part that I added the rest of the broth to. And I did go ahead and add about a half of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to taste it. I may need a little bit more. Let me get a tasting spoon here. I just love this stuff. That's perfect. Perfect! Y'all need to make you some avocado soup. It's so good. Now, the original name of the recipe was chilled avocado soup, and they served it chilled. And I'll just get me some out of the refrigerator, ice box, and I can drink it. I can get a cup and drink it. It's good. So y'all need to make you some. Let me know what you think about it. I'm gonna get some in a bowl, and so I can get a good picture of it, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, y'all, the soup is all ready, and I decided that I would make some broccoli cornbread to go with it, so y'all can get a 2-for-1 today. I need to put my chopped broccoli in the microwave to make sure it's thawed, and I need to melt 1 stick of butter, so I'm going to do that at the same time. How's that? Get me a bowl and put it in it. And as usual, y'all will get recipes at the end of the video. Okay, let me get a bowl to put it in, get it in the microwave, and get the butter melted, the broccoli thawed. Then we'll mix everything up and get it going. Sometimes my hens lay big old eggs, and sometimes they're smaller. These are big ones. And I've got a bunch of eggs on hand, so I'm going to use some of them right now. Put this in the garbage and get my whisk. This is some of the best cornbread. Oh my goodness, I love it. And here's what it takes. It takes a box of Jiffy cornbread mix, a box of chopped broccoli, a small onion chopped, 2 cups of grated cheese, 4 eggs, and a stick of melted butter. Now I've got to chop up one of these Vidalia onions here. I'll chop up some of that to go in it. Let me make sure this stuff has melted really good. Got an issue with my propane tank. I lost $600 this time worth of propane. I buy propane about every 2 years. Well, all of a sudden my stove wouldn't come on, and it showed that I had no propane. So I called them out here, and they were supposed to check for leaks, and they didn't check the whole tank. They just checked the gauges, filled it back up. Now, if I were a gas man, I think I would know that if a lady just lost 200 gallons of propane, even if the gauges weren't showing, that there was a leak somewhere, and I wouldn't fill it back up, but they did. Kid they sent out here didn't know any better. So they came back, and he found a little leak underneath the bottom. So I bought a new used tank, and they came and set it today. But now they're saying there's a leak somewhere coming to my stove from the outside. So I still can't use my cooktop. So I've got my helper coming that's helped me with all of my remodel and everything. And he's going to see about what we've got to do to make everything. And then the guy that redid my house years ago, Ethan, he used a poly pipe coming into the house, and that's illegal. Well, there were no checks and balances, so got by with it. I wish I knew now, then what I know now, there'd be several changes. But anyway, now we've got, what I'm going to have to do is have all of that pipe where it comes into the house and across the attic and down to the stove is going to have to be, I guess, galvanized pipe or whatever, something that's legal in the walls. So here I go with another expense besides losing $600 worth of propane. I had to buy a $1,500 used propane tank, $150 labor today, and I don't know what this pipe is going to cost me to put it in. Y'all pray for me. I am frazzled. I'm going to cut my onion up in little pieces. I'm going to do an apron video pretty soon, and that will help me with some of my expenses. So hopefully the next video will be apron fabric, where y'all can choose and order an apron, and that'll help me to pay for some of this. I don't like being the man and having to figure all this out. I need my honey. I need him bad. I done cried, or y'all would see me crying, ugly cry. I was just to my wits' end. It's just one thing after the other that you have to keep coming up with money for. And this set a small onion, so I'm using half of a big onion, and I've got it ready. So let me see if my stuff's melted over here. And then I'm going to muffin cup it up and go from there. I think I'm going to try to put it in there with my cookie thingy. Muffin tins, and I've got 2 pie plates, and I got some mixing bowls like that. Now this Jiffy is expired in November, but it's been in the freezer, so it's still good. I keep stuff like this in the freezer, and that way it lasts longer. Okay, here we go again. Why don't you just slosh it everywhere, young lady? Okay, here we go. I'm going to put my onions in. That's really about a cup of chopped onion. Y'all can see me stirring. You can't see in the bowl, but it's just stuff. And I'm going to put my cornbread mix in there. I love Jiffy cornbread mix. And my eggs. Mix it all up, and then I'll add my my cheese last. Make sure I got those lumps out of there. Okay, let me get my cheese. It calls for 2 cups. That's about 2 hands full. 1, 2. Y'all, this is delicious. I think that's about it. It's about mixed. Let's see if this will work to... I'll probably have some left over to do something else with. I don't know. This normally makes a 9 by 13 pan, but I like to do it in muffins. I like broccoli casserole. I like broccoli cornbread. And this is easy to make. Just make sure you got you a box of that chopped broccoli in your freezer and you're good to go. Yeah, I'm going to have enough for another little bit. There's no way I can get all of this in these tins. Not quite as pretty as my red ones, but it'll work. I've probably got 2, maybe 3. Let's see. Let me see if I can get a little bit more out if I get me a spatula. I think I can. That one needs a little more in it. Okay, I'm going to get these first 2, if they'll both fit, in the oven. Get them cooking for 20 minutes, and then we'll come back. You know what? I'll take a little off of that one and put it in that one, and a little off of that one, and make these a little fuller. Yeah. Okay, now I made another little mess. Let me get my hands wiped a little bit. Let me see if they're both going to fit. I may can only put one at a time in. They're both going to fit, and then I'll cook that one last. Okay, here's the soup all stirred up in the big old bowl, and it does make a lot. So if you want to cut it in half, or even a fourth, just to make a smaller, but I'll have enough people to eat all of this. But I have halved it before, and of course it works out just fine. Okay, y'all, we got soup and cornbread. Let me get the muffins out. And I like to keep them hot in one of my stove pans because it's enamel covered cast iron. And if you put them in there, it keeps them warm for quite a while. So I'm going to take them out of the pan and put them in the pot, put the lid on it, and I'll have warm cornbread for several hours. I want to thank y'all for coming in the kitchen and hanging with me today while I made the soup and the cornbread. And I didn't show y'all a bowl of each ready to eat, but I showed you both of the products. The soup is good, warm or cold. I like it cold right out of the icebox. It was lukewarm when I ate some a while ago. A friend stopped by, so I had somebody here to eat with, and I forgot to show you my bowl and my cornbread. But I've got some cornbread left in here. Look at this. Let me tell you what, that cornbread is wonderful. Let me show you what it looks like inside. It's got cheese and broccoli, and it's just good. So y'all need to make you some. It's good with beans or peas, or I like it just by itself like a savory muffin. But, and the avocado soup, I sent half of it home with Gary, the guy that's been working on my house. He came to check out the propane stuff problem. So the plumber is coming Thursday, so I won't have a cooktop this week. So I'm going to try to do an apron fabric video, get some orders for aprons to help me pay for this. I have no idea what else it's going to cost. Today for a tank and the labor was $1,700. And I've already lost $1,000 worth of propane into the air. and I don't know what the plumber's going to have to do. I'm going to be okay. I'm just a little bit stressed and frazzled right now. It just keeps being something else to need to spend some money on. So I'm going to try to earn a little bit. The good Lord bless y'all. I'll be back in a day or two, and please forgive me for not showing you a bowl of the soup with cornbread beside it. I've shown you both of them. Make you some and taste of it. It's very, very good. And I will be back in a day or two with something else good besides making aprons.